Ugh. I absolutely hate writing short stories. And since I'm an English lit major, I'm kind of burnt out on reading them as well. I mean, there's only so many times you can overanalyze hills like white elephants before you start losing your mind. I'm sorry, Ernest Hemingway, but I can't do it anymore. Anyways, here's the thing. If you know me, or my writing at all, you will know that I'm a chronic overwriter. And if you don't know me, well, let me introduce myself real quick. I'm LD Jones, otherwise known as LDJ Writes, and I am a science fiction and fantasy writer who has been working on a large-scale writing project for the last 10 years or so. With that out of the way, let's get back to what I was saying. I am an overwriter, which means that I write a lot more than I probably should. For an example, almost all of my drafts are in the 90 to 100K range, and that's on the minimum side. Keeping things brief? Yeah, that's not my strong suit at all. When it comes to writing short fiction, I just don't understand how you can create a whole plot, character arcs, coherent themes, conflict, and fit that all into such a small package. It just makes zero sense to me. Writing a short story is like borderline impossible. At least for me it is. But hey, new year, new me, right? When this year first started, I gave myself two personal goals. One of those being try and get something published, at least one thing, whether it's a book, short story, poem, something. Just try and get something published. The second goal was to test myself creatively. When I came across a short story writing contest hosted by the Writers Playground, I figured, hey, why not knock out two birds with one stone? So yeah, I know that I said I hate writing short stories, but guess what I'm going to be doing for the next 6 days? I'm pretty sure you guessed it. The contest ends on the 19th. It is currently the 13th. That means I have exactly 6 days to plot, write, and edit a 3,000 word short story before the deadline. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Well, I guess I better get to work then. What even is a short story? Before I tell you about my short story idea, let me take you back to a couple of days ago when I got the email letting me know what the prompt for the short story contest would be. When I got that email, I was left even more confused than I was before I started. And I was already pretty confused before. So let me take you back to that night. Okay, I get to choose from 4 characters, 5 settings, okay. Wait a second. I have to include a well in the story? A well? So, as you guys can see, I was pretty confused after reading the email with the prompt for the short story contest. But let me give you guys a little bit of context for what's actually in the prompt. It says prompts, open to creative interpretation, but it must be clear to the judges as readers. If you are uncertain at all about your interpretation, reach out to us and ask. And then it goes into the 3 different ways the prompt is broke down. It says, choose one of the characters listed below. This character does not have to be your protagonist, but they must play a significant role in your story. So it says a hunter, someone who feels like the black sheep in their family, a journalist, a taxidermist, and someone who used to be rich and lost their wealth. So those are the 5 options I get to choose from to write in my short story. And then next up we have 5 settings. And this one says can be set in any time period, including the future, can deviate slightly, but the majority of the story must take place in one of these settings. And the settings are as follows. A snow day can take place anywhere as long as a character's work or school is canceled / closed because of snow. We've got Argentina, a Renaissance festival, a cemetery, and a tavern that also rents out a few rooms. So there's a pretty diverse array of settings that you can pick. I feel like this kind of spans multiple genres that people want to take it into. And last but not least, the really confusing thing about the prompt is this last part. The one thing that must be included in all stories is a well. It doesn't specify what kind of well, it just says a well. And considering this is open to interpretation, I feel like I can take this in a bunch of different ways. It's currently Tuesday actually, and I have not done any writing for this short story, but I've done the important part, in my opinion, and I have came up with an idea. And I won't get too in depth into the idea because I'm still kind of working out the kinks and stuff, but I will tell you which characters and setting that I will tell you which setting and which character I chose from the prompt. So I chose a journalist to be my protagonist, and I chose a snow day as the setting. And to be more specific for the snow day, I picked an Antarctic research facility that gets snowed in because of a massive blizzard in Antarctica, where there's a lot of snow. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that counts as snow day. I don't see why it wouldn't, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna be going with. And yeah, as I've stated before on this channel, everything that I write takes place in a universe that I call the Eternal Keyverse. It's not too much different from ours, except that there's aliens and superheroes and magic and stuff. This short story is going to be one of the more grounded stories in the Eternal Keyverse. It's only 3,000 words, so I don't have much space to do too much. But yeah, it's going to be about a regular human. He's going to be a journalist. He's going to be working on a research facility, but he's going to find something that changes the trajectory of his life forever. And yeah, I should probably get to writing now. Did some more plotting in my notebook just to kind of flesh out some more ideas that I had. And between now and when the contest is due, I think I will definitely have a finished product. Will it be the best product possible? I'm not sure, because I'm not sure how much editing I'm going to be able to do. But I am kind of changing my mind about short stories just a little bit. Only because when I was developing the idea for this short story, what I was coming up with the character and like his whole arc within 3,000 words, I was like, hey, this is kind of cool, and it's something different that I've not really attempted to do, because most of what I write, while it has like, you know, complex themes and stuff, at the core of it, it's like a lot of fantasy elements, a lot of action elements. And in this story, there's almost no like action. There's no fight scenes or anything, but like there's a small action piece that I won't get into right now. But yeah, I'm kind of liking the story that I came up with, and it's, you know, such a small condensed story that's really just for this like, you know, small piece that I'm writing. And I don't know, maybe by the end of this, maybe I'll actually like writing short stories. Okay, so remember how I said I was kind of warming up to writing short stories? Well, I might have lied. Just a little bit. So today's actually Saturday the 18th, and this contest is due tomorrow on the 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern, or 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's due 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And guess how many words I've written in the last 3 days? If you said 0, you would be correct, because I've not done any writing, not only for the short story, but for my other work in progress, the Ivory Crypt. If you guys want to check out those videos, they're on my channel. I haven't done any writing for anything in the last 3 days, but you know, I've been pretty busy with some very, very important things. Like, I've not just been sitting around. I've been busy. But yeah, if I want to get this story done, I need to lock in. I got a day and a half pretty much, because I have to go to bed early on Sundays because I wake up super early in the morning for work on Mondays. So I really have today to finish the short story, tomorrow to edit and make sure everything's at least readable before I turn it in. I'm not sure why I thought this would be a good idea to try and write an entire short story and submit it for a contest in 6 days, but you know, sometimes you just gotta do things with a plot. Speaking of plot, I need to go ahead and make sure the one I'm writing actually makes sense. I'm about halfway through. I think I have 1,500 words down, and I just got to the midpoint. Like, the inciting incident's over. My main character's taking the decision to go do what he's about to go do, and now I just have to, you know, write what he's about to go do and then get to the end. So not too much work I have to do, but I do still have about half of the story to write. So that's been enough talking from me. It's time to go write. Okay guys, so today is currently Sunday, January 19th. My short story competition is due today. My entry is due actually in an hour and a half. It's 7:30, and I have good news though. I actually completed writing the story, but it's too long. It is currently, let's see, hold on, word count. It is 3,070 words. I need to get it to 3,000. I do get a grace period of 100 words, so it can be 3,100, but I want to get it down to at least 3,000 because I feel like I can shave some words down. And also it's kind of helping me get rid of, extraneous information or, sentences that are like redundant or just things. I feel like as I'm going through this, trying to shave the word count down, it's helping me like edit, I guess, refine my writing and rework certain sentences to make them stronger without using as many words or just stuff like that. So I'm kind of enjoying the process, but I am running out of time. It will be 9 o'clock soon, and that's when I have to turn this in, and I still need to read through it and make sure there's no typos and whatnot and stuff like that. So yeah, wish me luck guys. Let's see if I can get this down in time.
1 hour later.
Okay, I was able to shave down the final word count to 3,016. Yeah, I was starting to run out of time. I got an hour left. Not sure how much more work I can do in an hour because I also have to do something in a bit. But yeah, I think this is as good as I can get the story, and I'm about to turn it in. Let me turn the camera around. Hold on. This is the email. Final word count 3,000. My name, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I put a little tagline of what the story is about. Don't know why it's not focusing. But yeah, gonna turn this in now.
Several days later.
It's a couple of days after I turned in my short story to the Writer's Playground, and I just wanted to come back and give you guys a little summary on how this entire experience went for me. In the end, I really enjoyed the story that I was able to come up with. The 3,000 word count was definitely a challenge, as you guys can see in that last clip where it kind of came down to the wire where I had to shave down 400 words from the original word count that I ended on, because when I finished like the first draft of the short story, it was at 3,400 something words. I wanted to get it to at least like 3,000. The email that I got from the short story competition said you get a buffer of 100 words, so it could have been 3,100, but I wanted to get it underneath that, and I was successful, sort of. I got it to, I think, 3,016 words, which pretty good, but one of the main takeaways I got from writing the short story was editing is really difficult, actually, because like I've edited before, but I've never really gone through and edited an entire manuscript. Usually when I'm like revising a story, I kind of rewrite it in a way. Like I take like completed scenes and I rewrite portions of it, but most of the time I'm kind of rewriting it from scratch using the existing work as a reference. But with the short story, I couldn't just rewrite the whole thing again to edit it. So I really had to like pick and choose which sentences need to stay, which ones needed to go, rewording things to be more concise but keeping the same message. So like writing the short story actually I think helped me become a better editor for when I need to go ahead and edit my own manuscripts in the future. Another thing that I took away is that short stories really make you focus on your character and your plot, or your plot slash conflict. Those are like the main things you really have to hone in on, because while yes, you can include your style into the writing of a short story, I think it's definitely possible, and I think I was able to accomplish that here. I think you really have to focus on creating a fleshed out character and making sure that your plot is consistent and makes sense and is wrapped up by the end of whatever your word count is. In my case, it was 3,000 words. And do I think I did that? I think so, but like, could I have done better? Probably, if I had more time. I only had 6 days, which turned out to not be as long as I thought. I thought 3,000 words, 6 days, that should be pretty easy. But there were a couple days that I missed writing, and then when it came to the last day and I had to edit, I was like, dang, I'm kind of in a tough spot here. So I guess another thing I learned is time management when it comes to deadlines. I currently don't have any hard deadlines set for myself. I do want to finish the Ivory Crypt by the end of February, but at the pace I'm going at now, I think I'll make that mark. But yeah, and the last thing that I took away from writing this short story is that I think I actually don't mind writing short stories. And if I end up doing them on my own, which I will get back to that in a second, I would not have a word count limit on mine, and I would not have a deadline, at least not a hard deadline. I say all that to say, I'm nearing 1,000 subscribers on this channel, which is still mind-blowing to me. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed and, you know, supported my channel and my videos and stuff. I really appreciate it. But I told myself once I hit 1,000 that I will launch a Patreon and a website, because the more that Wattpad as a website and an app changes, the less active and inclined I feel to be a part of the program, especially because I'm not a part of the Wattpad Star, or I guess the Wattpad Creators program anymore. So I'm pretty much just like a regular user over there. They've gotten rid of all the social aspect, so I really am just kind of just on YouTube and on Discord in terms of writing communities. So my idea was to slowly start pulling my stuff off Wattpad and posting it on my own hosted website, and also posting extra stuff on a Patreon, because while I've seen other writers on, like, you know, AuthorTube have launched Patreons, like Brielle and Cody, I'm pretty sure, has a Patreon now, I feel like I would be able to offer something slightly different, because what I've seen is they're not really offering too many writing perks. It's more so of the YouTube side. You're getting extra content, and you're getting extra video content and stuff like that, which I would also be offering on my Patreon as well. But one thing I would be offering is, while I want you guys to be fans of me as a writer, I want you guys to mainly be fans of the Eternal Keyverse. So I want you guys to be fans of those characters, those stories, and I think one way I can do that without having any official books out is if I post my first drafts there for you guys to essentially be my beta readers, and if I post a short story there once a month that takes place in the Eternal Keyverse. And that's just something that I'm thinking of, because the short story that I wrote for this competition takes place in the Eternal Keyverse and is actually ends up being pretty important for a character that exists in another series that I have. And the only way any of you guys would be able to get any context on that is if you were to join the Patreon whenever it is launched. So yeah, that's just some ideas I had about that and what I could potentially do with short stories in the future, because I have a whole list of potential short stories that I would like to write. In fact, I had this idea to make an anthology of different stories that take place in the Keyverse. They would be all different characters, all unrelated, and I would call it Keyholes, because, you know, Eternal Keyverse, the Eternal Keys, Keyholes. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, those are just some ideas I have regarding short stories. And to sum all this up, I really am glad that I, you know, did this contest. I wasn't quite sure about it at first. I was like, you know, this will be cool. I'm not getting my hopes up too much in terms of actually getting selected to be published. But at the end of the day, I really liked what I came up with. And hopefully I at least make an honorable mention to see, because if I make the honorable mention list, I get on the website. At the very least, it would be cool to place in the top 10. That would be even cooler. Let me know in the comments if you guys have ever written a short story and what it was about. And if you've never written short fiction before, let me know why that is. Wasn't sure if it was like up my wheelhouse, but you know, by the end of this, kind of changed my mind a little bit. So let me know if you guys are open to writing short stories too. That'll be all from me in this video. I've been LDJ Writes, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.